have been running this. And, you know, that does raise a couple of questions. If they just played the double duelist, exactly like you said yesterday, what would make them swap into this composition? Well, they were successful against TSM, not successful against Envy. So, you know, but that's kind of Envy for you. So I imagine that they do have a couple of ideas and they want to kind of work out some of these, because to me, this says that they're confident in this composition, specifically within the Challengers. And maybe if it continues to work out well, then branch it into some of the other tournaments as well, right?
Yeah. Well, at least for now, Shopify have been doing a good job to kick off this pistol, working the map a bit, realizing the weaknesses towards B, breaking out this alarm bot, and they're looking to re-hit into the garage. But two players of Legacy are currently waiting there, and first blood is drawn by Legacy, but it gets quickly traded out. The death ball is perfect for SRG as they split into an open C site.
And once again, it's Sarah lighting up the kill feed. Sarah having a pretty fantastic game. Last time we saw Shopify Rebellion Gold, the spike now going down here. It's going to be 3v4 onto this retake as soon as the rest of Legacy can group themselves up. But it's really going to be dependent on Jonah kind of just making their way over there. Corrupt going to start us off.
He's like strolling on a weekend cart path there going through, but at least there's some battles happening towards the seaside. It's a 1-for-1, which runs enough time for Jonah to meet up with Corrupt, but not until Corrupt is low on HP. Goes for a peek. Sarah's looking for the ace already. Quad in the round and picks it up on that pistol. A great start now for Shopify Rebellion Gold.
Yep, and of course, it's Sarah. Just absolutely shooting, absolutely hitting all the heads that Shopify Rebellion needed. Legacy Kingdom, they lose out that pistol round. A great start for Shopify there, as we start to get a better idea on kind of what this head-to-head is going to be looking like. Of course, too, looking on the Legacy side as well, seeing people like Tim kind of come back onto that Smokes agent, that Omen. We've seen Tim play extremely well before. And so, once again, assuming that we can kind of get these combos of utilities working out, I'm really excited to see what Muddy can do.
Yeah. Muddy and the rest of their crew are looking to add pressure into the choke. So if Noya falls, well, not until she headshots Jonah first, but should get traded out here. There you go. But that's going to give an opportunity for the rest of Shopify Rebellion Gold to even tempo quickly up towards that C side. That wall was threatening a push down towards C in the very beginning. Now they can maximize orbs as Sarah picks it up and they move into a C side. Once again, another open path. But look at this position you see here, Marks. Alexis is winning all the way behind just to try to cut the rotates in this pulse plan.
Yeah, one of the things that Alexis had mentioned was, you know, swapping onto that Sentinel role allows you to frag out a bit more individualistically. And especially, too, where this Killjoy is positioned, this could be deadly. Obviously, Legacy, I don't know whether or not they're going to full send it or full commit onto the site, given the weapon disadvantage here, but Alexis is a good ace in the pocket of Shopify.
Well, looks like they are going for it, not looking to die to Spike. This gives an opportunity for Sarah to go a bit on a hunt and try to pick up the last kill here, but they're actually not giving her the lower weapon so she can start hunting things down. She's going straight for it with the Phantom. Although you can see the spike's about to go off, and yeah, you're choosing differently here, realizing that you're going to walk into the trap of the last two players out towards that C-Link. So you are going to forfeit the opportunity to get the ult into round 3 right away, but there's still that open path for them to work very slowly around the map to try to leverage a Hunter's Fury in their bonus round.
Yeah, and I want to start us out with exactly what we're seeing in this replay here, right? Because this wall gets put up and it allows Noya to just kind of snake her way through and get a free kill onto Orb, because you see the pressure coming through from short, from sewers, basically, to try and understand where those players are, scope out that A site, maybe get the jump on somebody. But because of how that Viper's wall is placed, Noya gets a kill for free, stopping Jonah from being able to pick up that orb. So an excellent little kind of micro play going on here. And once again, when talking about kind of the strategic depth, you know that Shopify are going to be bringing all their notebooks to class today, because they are one of the teams that does the most amount of preparation for these matches.
100%. You're already see the type of execution that, you know, even pro teams at the tier 1 level are currently doing. The fast lanes and then the Omen TP on the top just to protect the spike. And they still have very good weaponry to play into the post plant. And who better than Sarah to get the Hunter's Fury after that plant? So lots of win conditions coming out for Shopify Rebellion Gold to hold this post plant as there's smokes on smokes. First tap coming through, baits out the Hunter's Fury right away. But she's going to get so many pings. That's 1 and 2. More of them falling down on the side. Tim's low on HP, finally picked off. There's the pushback though from Legacy. Spike now looking to get defused by Muddy, and they're closing a one-on-one. It's up to Sarah again with another attempted ace, and she will capitalize on it.
Hey, Sarah used the Hunter's Fury that round. Already now halfway up to getting that ultimate back online. An unbelievable performance coming in from the Sova. 10-0. Nobody else in the server has gotten over 2 kills. Sarah is frying today in the server. That is just unbelievable stuff coming out from Shopify. An excellent hold and honestly just good utilization of that utility. We know that Shopify are one of those teams that like to rely on their utility a little more for those post-plant positionings. But what an ace coming out from Sarah to just kind of seal the deal on the round. Legacy got to be feeling that one after that round.
Yeah, ISO what? She doesn't need the ISO anymore in this double duelist card for SRG. You're starting to see a little bit more why SRG goes back into leaning into this composition with Donut here as this Neon. Maybe it's just playing the comfort picks as well. You have now fragging capabilities around Noyan and Alexis, and Sarah just gets to play her own game on one of her best agents as well. I also think about the Breach, which we haven't seen as much these days for Shopify Rebellion Gold, but you definitely know here as the initiator role, Sarah could definitely step up to the plate. Now, for this round, though, Mars, you could definitely see that SRG are scoping the map a little bit more, afraid of some sort of stack from Legacy side.
And this is a really patient play coming out from Legacy too. They've got money extended all the way down C, so they have an idea that it either has to be this B or A site. And thankfully, they've made the read correctly. 3 agents back up the defense.
Oof. That recon dart's going to get so much value, so the site smoke's not going to do much to allow Blast to fall away. But they do have enough players around the site. Headshots all around from the Sheriffs, and the spike's already down. You're looking now for Alexis and Mel on a 2 versus 4 to try to salvage this round back. Thankfully, the weapons are still far out of reach on the defensive side, so the rifles that they have might come into fruition until Tim says no.
Wow.
It's actually on the side of Legacy that answers back with Sheriffs. On a 50 round with such a great start for Shopper Rebellion Gold, that's how you're starting to come back on the side of the defense.
I like how that last round we're like, oh, Legacy, they got to be shaking in their boots after Sarah just kind of dunked on them. And then they come out with an absolutely phenomenal Sheriff play there. And that time around, I think it might have just been Shopify Rebellion underestimating the amount of point presence that existed, because Legacy, they didn't really necessarily set up crossfires either. They just had the people presence watching at some of these weird angles. And then as soon as Shopify exit in out of the smokes, it was just a headshot to shut things down. So excellent little play from them.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the alarm bot, Viper wall, really damaged some players across, getting good value out of this. But look at this fight. Morsi now towards the A side. It's a long battle, and Muddy's the one that gets the difference against Donut in that mirror matchup, and also allowing Legacy to get a player advantage, forcing now SRG to slow things down and play a lot more individually. Alexis looking to peek out, stopped by Muddy, and that spike right away. Our president now in a 1 versus 3. Can she actually get it done here? If you're looking at the money, they don't have the best of money. So this is a possibility for her to save, unless right in this moment, she isolates individual fights and has the opportunity to do so right now. Finally spotted now by Muddy. Here is the gap being closed, as well as Corrupt is meeting up with his teammate, and also Blast is closing that gap.
As patient as ever from both of these sides. I mean, at this point, if you're Legacy, you know that you've got more than enough wiggle room here. Noya has to make the first move and is going to be pushing into A.
Probably a jiggle first. An opportunity once again for individual 1v1s, but Muddy again still too clean around the corner. That's 3 separate off angles that was being played on the defensive side of this Neon that worked out so well here for their defense, and that breaks the econ on the side of SRG. An opportunity now for Legacy to already tie things up going into round number 6.
Yeah, moving into round number 6, the big question is how does Shopify really change up what they're doing against this? Because that time around, it just felt like they were trying to take these attack angles and getting overwhelmed by the point presence of Legacy, pushing out of A side, and then of course Muddy just kind of ducking, dodging, diving out of the way, so Donut had no idea what was going on. Muddy just ran rampant on the team, and once again, we're seeing Noya go for that little tuck away and hopefully looking for a potential kill, but I think Legacy are going to be aware of it.
Right now, though, she has an opportunity for a free kill. Oh, just a sidestep a little bit too much.
Unlucky.
Muddy was able to flick back for that kill, and you saw the idea for SRG. On a lower buy, usually you want to try to just go for a plant towards this B site, so you're trying to pull rotates. Couldn't get these big support coming out from the Hunter's Fury, and unfortunately the plan to push and pull around Haven is not working out for the gold roster from Shopify Rebellion. leaving now Alexis alone in a 1v4, and this should be another easy round for Legacy. But you definitely see here what you were just mentioning before, Marks, the threat that you have from this Viper wall that Noya keeps running back and forth towards you, because when this wall comes up, you also don't force yourself to shoot a recon dart on the side of Jonah. So you could allow to fake a presence or even make them think that there's nobody there, which that allowed Noya to get an upper hand in the first place in that round number 2. But this time, though, Alexis picks up a rifle, and she's going to try to make it expensive against Legacy.
Yeah, look at the chokeholds Legacy have on that B site. So many different opportunities, so many different angles for them to be watching as Alexis spots Jonah first.
Yeah, and not enough there for that first pick, although she had the first opportunity to shoot against Corrupt. No damage being done. Corrupt makes it out alive with 11 HP remaining into the round, but what was such a hot start on that side, we kind of jinxed it, Marks, I guess, because we were talking about 10-0-0 for Sarah, and unfortunately she's been stopped in her tracks since. Legacy was able to get their money right from that Sheriff round.
I mean, you talk about Sarah being stopped in her tracks, but honestly, the entirety of Shopify Rebellion Gold feel like they've been stopped in their tracks. Legacy Kingdom doing a fantastic job of taking these very early engagements, while Shopify Rebellion Gold don't seem like they're really ready to kind of expect any of that. Look at this, it's just a complete push out, and Legacy find 3.
Well, that's amazing. Already going into a flawless. Mel went for a TP and was forced to cancel, and now it's a full roster pushing in against her on both sides. There's that slide, and Neon is so annoying to play against. Do something about that still. The fact that you can just slide across, do a relay bolt, and bring your weapon out before anybody can react is still quite a little bit impressive.
A little bit. Just kind of like a look at me go. Oh, now I've got my gun in my hand. Watch out. But yeah, like it's these super early aggressive pushes that right now that we're seeing Legacy take and ultimately like win out. To be fair, if you're Shopify Rebellion Gold, you're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna make sure that we set ourselves up, keep everything in check. What do you mean 3 people are pushing outside of B right now and they're all aiming at us? It's just something you don't expect given how these last couple of rounds have gone. A felt like it was always that point pressure where Legacy were trying to get their space, but now that they've got rifles and now that they're feeling a lot more confident, we're seeing Legacy go for a lot more of these set plays very early on in the round to give themselves such an advantage against Shopify. And if you're hoping that Sarah can kind of pull out aces every single round to win your rounds, that simply will not happen as a possible game plan if you are Shopify Rebellion Gold.
And also a change of pace that they did on the side of Legacy by just walking down middle and pushing out towards Garage, something that wasn't expected on the side here for Shopify. But sometimes, especially with the Viper composition on the defense, you should expect these type of pressures that are coming out here from Legacy. Although the way that they're setting up their walls on defense is really to deny visibility from B and A site, and maybe on that second round deny visibility and pressure on the long C side. So SRG after this timeout looks like it's probably going to try to stay and make sure that they stay on their toes and maybe leverage a little bit more of Alexis's utility and early Sarah utility. But that will have to wait until they're past this eco round, walking into a full Killjoy setup on the A site.
Yeah, that's going to make it that much more difficult. I mean, the utility is going to be coming out here, so there will be a push, but now Jonah as well as Blast are watching this site.
Just a little bit of delay coming in from the first place as they realize that the KJ utility is there with the Viper, so very difficult to get through, especially if you're looking at these site smokes happening. Like, how are you going to try to get into the site when you're walking through a wall and an omen smoke? So smart here for Shopify to reassess how they want to rework the map. Yes, they're going to make a bit of noise, but it's not going to be heard yet because look at how passively Legacy are playing from that B and C link side. So Al Jones spots nobody. They realize no threat on that side, and they want to try to re-hit towards A.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, though. Unfortunately, not as much utility in their pockets to try and make this one happen, but Sarah's dart is going to come back online, so they will have a bit of information as Blast is going to be taking the brunt of the pressure.
And now clothesline as you're trying to run through with the finger blaster, but nobody is able to cross that line of scrimmage outside of the Neon as soon as the defensive Viper wall came up. And it looked like there was an opportunity there, though, Marks, because there was a early rotate coming out from Legacy. They only left Blast alone towards that site, yet we're still able to hold it.
And it feels like history is repeating itself on that A site. there were 3 rounds earlier where we saw Shopify Rebellion Gold go for that A attack side, and it felt like it was one of those things where as soon as they walked out of the smokes, there wasn't necessarily the flash put in the right place. You know, the smokes may not have been down, and then we just see Legacy just kind of farm them as they walk in. They don't even get in onto the site to get that spike down, and this has happened multiple rounds. And so if you are Shopify Rebellion Gold, you got to start to think maybe A is not going to be our site, because pretty much all throughout this entire match thus far, that A site has really not worked for this attack. As we see they get poised up yet again. Looks like they will be a little bit more stubborn about this. They understand the Killjoy isn't here anymore, and that might give a couple of opportunities to make this attack just a little bit easier.
Both teams are playing this quite well, though, Marks, because SRG has yet to threaten the C site since the pistol round, so they post the Opera on that side. And immediately at the minute mark, Jonah used both the Recon and the Owl drone, spotting nothing and thinking that it's clear. And now you're starting to see the execution coming out of SRG. I mean, the ult does it still clears up the right side of that A site, as they thought there is still some anchoring players in there. But soon they'll realize that there's nobody there playing towards the A side, so they chose the right one to hit from the first place.
It's a 4-person flank coming behind. This is going to be an interesting retake from Legacy. Sarah's going to have to do it all.
Indeed she will. That's Army 3 in a 1v1 close range, finally stopped by Muddy. But things are definitely muddy on the other side of the A side. It's going to be impossible for Jonah to walk into this pit. And what are you going to do now with the overdrive? Nothing. Stunned out and giving your position away. This should be a freebie out for SRG towards the end, again with Sarah Cat just deadlifting towards the A side hold.
You know what? My bad. Sorry, Sarah. I wasn't familiar with your game there. Yeah, I was like, okay, given how Legacy have done this is going to be a tall order even for Sarah, and yet still walks away with 3 kills. In the midst of all of it, unfortunately, Alexis goes down, but all things considered, a good round from Shopify Rebellion. If you are Legacy, you're kind of okay with how that went, because you forced out 2 very big ultimates in the lockdown as well as the Viper's Pit. So not the worst thing coming out from Legacy. They've got more than enough money to continue that buy forwards. And of course, they still have their own lockdown available for whenever they choose to do it. Looks like this time, though, Shopify Rebellion adding a bit more pressure onto the C site, which so far hasn't really been the play from this team, as Muddy almost catches somebody with the operator, and down goes the GOAT. Sarah, unfortunately, through the smoke, gets hit with that giant sniper rifle.
Now, Tim on the other side, too, is anchoring out towards A, so all those extremities that was trying to get picked up here by SRG gets fully denied. Now it's going to have to come down to hero plays out from the remaining 3 players from SRG. I gotta say, it's a nice plan from Legacy from that previous round into this one, too. I think that 4-player flank into the A side against Sarah was quite nice, because they knew about the Hunter's Fury available. This time, they didn't have to use it on that previous round. Potentially could go for a late drone back into a C side Hunter's Fury, but then Muddy's able to stop that right away. So now you're gambling for a hit towards the B site, nothing to break that KJ utility. So it'll be difficult to entry until you kill people through smokes again. So Alexis opens it up for a bit, gives a chance and a fighting chance for Shopify.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, the spike will go down. Never mind. They're actually calling an audible. Going to be moving themselves around. Now will be planting the spike. My eye right now is on Jonah's position. We'll be wrapping up with the rest of the team, but could be good here.
Just waiting for Muddy to meet up with him so they could actually go for a 3-2-1 swing on that side. Wall comes up, though, for SRG to fight back into the B site after the lockdown's gone. Mel gives her position away. There's that double swing out. TP's away to safety. No, actually just got wallbanged right after as a second relay bullet hits her. And unfortunately, the remaining players inside the site until Donut is trying to do whatever she can to deny this defuse, but it will not happen. A clean retake in the end now for Legacy, as what was such a hot start rather for SRG, as now Legacy taking full control back on the defensive side.
Yeah, they more or less just kind of kicked Shopify out of the driver's seat and then just started driving the car themselves. That round, honestly, just defined purely by sprays through smokes. I know that Riot said that they were going to reduce the number of bullets in the gun, so that can't quite happen, but still, I mean, the op shot through it, like, you can't even fathom that even happening to your team, and you really can't account for that, especially such a key pivotal pick onto Sarah, making it that much more difficult for Shopify to kind of ground themselves. And so we're seeing them, it's a bit of a scattered by 2 rounds left in this half. And they do have that Hunter's Fury online, but on the other side, Legacy, like, they're just kind of ranking these ultimates up. Corrupt just needs 1 more ultimate orb. We'll have the pit available. So a lot of things available and honestly in favor of Legacy to continue to start to roll these rounds forwards.
They're leaving Muddy right now to bait so that Corrupt could maybe try to swing out right after us. And he's going to have to shoot this drone. That still gives a chance now for Corrupt to stay within his spot. But you're starting to see it. You know, what happened here at the beginning of these rounds? Just both Sova's finding early information for the team. You know that SRG, at least we know that they've invested into this round enough so they can buy into the next. So still a pretty decent buy. 3 rifles to work with, looking to split towards the seaside, looking to pull rotates one more time. And there's an opportunity to once again use value out of this Hunter's Fury. Sarah's now moving up.
There it is.
But it's being shot this time for the A side link. No pings.
Flood in on at the site now. Blast actually holding this angle, and Tim and Blast are able to find 2 as the spike goes down. Only 30 seconds left, so Shopify have to make a move fast and look at that pinch.
Exactly. Corrupt's already behind, sees all the information from the front, and a collat towards the end too from Muddy coming in from the C-Link. I mean, we'll take those any day. And that was what was stopped in their tracks. SRG had a great start walking into the C site, but as soon as he went for that pop, looks like they got caught off guard here by the players anchoring all the way back towards that C site.
And it feels like that's the big thing right now. In all of these different sites, aside from B, Shopify Rebellion are just having a really difficult time getting into the actual site. And sure, like, you should have enough flash presence given the paranoia, given the relay bolts as well. But, oh yeah, we get to see that lovely little collat there to end out that round. But they're playing fearfully off of that operator. Obviously, Muddy has been doing an excellent job at kind of wrangling in that intimidation factor. And yet still, they're not able to necessarily execute into these sites cleanly. Legacy are always stopping them, it feels, before that spike goes down. The times that Shopify actually get that spike down, it's looking pretty clean from them as long as they've got the numbers. But Legacy simply do not let them even get to that chance from happening.
Paranoia with a recon to get information. It'll ping 2 and the wall bangs. Not good enough. Hunter's Fury to counteract here from the bottom of the C site. Trying to take down Blast, but he's the one blasting down SRG with the wide swing. That's already 2 down, and Sarah's trying to meet up with the rest of her teammates as 2 of them are stuck inside the garage. Corrupt one more time, just trying to cut the rotate. Not going to give his position away. Now they could anchor up in a 4-1 split. And now things are starting to slow down for a bit, but looking very good for Legacy to hold off towards the seaside.
Wow.
3-2-1 triple swing, and Blast himself is looking for an ace, denied by Alexis, but the spike is down out in the open. They have to her position. Oh, okay, a clean headshot though onto Muddy. But that, until Corrupt once again is lurking. She knows about the late garage hit because the alarm bot, or should I say the turret, was broken, but unfortunately did not know where the pathing of Corrupt was going to be. And Corrupt gets the backstab, allowing Legacy to capitalize on so many rounds here on their defensive side with the lead of 8-4.
Hey, chicken count. Add it to 1. The Killjoy turret got a kill there. That is kind of crazy to see there. But once again, it feels like these just executes were just simply not working for Shopify Rebellion there. And honestly, all credit to Blast really showcasing that aim ability. Obviously, the rest of the team of Legacy were behind him as well, making sure that they were ready for the swing, ready for the trades. But just with pure aim duels, was able to win that out. And I want to point everyone's attention to the number of kills for both of these teams. Obviously, Sarah still topped the leaderboard, was kind of frying people there, but the rest of Shopify Rebellion really aren't getting up there. Meanwhile, Legacy, it feels a lot more even, a lot across the board. And I think that just kind of shows right now really how this map has been going.
Definitely. And if anything now too, if we want to have our positivity from both of these teams, this type of composition, though, does allow it for you to have a stronger defensive side. You're denying a lot with the Viper Wall, you're forcing decays, and then you're getting max value out of your KJ utility. So an 8-round on the defense for Legacy doesn't necessarily mean that they're dominating this series so far, because Shopify in this mirror comm has the opportunity to do the same thing.
And a bit of a different Viper Wall that we're seeing from Shopify Rebellion Gold compared to the one that Legacy like to put up here. And that one's good because it denies a lot of that C site as well as garage. Mel just watching as well, just on the outside here as execute from Legacy will be underway.
Paranoia is slowing him down too, so that allows her Noya to just full focus in the front of the C site first. Met up now by Mel on top of that. The wide swing coming through, fighting inside the smoke. Tim gets the opener, and then they go for a trip swing out through the smoke. And Legacy is plastered onto the kill feed all across the board as they dominate the C site defense from Shopify, leaving now Sarah alone. I mean, she's had an incredible pistol,
wow,
but not this time around.
And sure, Shopify Rebellion Gold, they were able to get the first pistol round here. Legacy swinging back completely. And honestly, it was just kind of like, you ain't stopping this ship this time. Legacy, 3 members just walking around, swarming around as a single cohesive unit, making sure that they're ready for any of these trades and isolating the members of Shopify Rebellion Gold, kind of digging their heels in onto that C site. And honestly, that seems to be Legacy's style. We saw multiple rounds where they just kind of grouped up, ape strong together, move out there and secure all the kills necessary to win out those initial gunfights. And I'm assuming that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that as they continue to be this kind of fast, aggressive mob running into the Shopify Rebellion Gold squad.
We're also all crouched towards long C to kick things off, and nobody's peeking out. So look at the patience being displayed now on the side of Legacy. They're doing some good damage, though, at least from the side of Shopify. Spikes down, and Glass is holding the corner with a couple of shots. Can the trade come through? And unfortunately not. That was an opportunity there, but too much noise being done, and did not expect a super late lurk coming out from Blast. And Legacy is able to stay alive within what could have been more dangerous as Shopify Rebellion were able to set themselves up after picking up these weapons.
Yeah, and that time around, Shopify Rebellion kind of taking a page out of Legacy's book. You can tell that Legacy were not prepared for that. They came in with pistols and still were able to really even out the playing field. And it wasn't until Blast kind of had this kind of crazy late, I wouldn't even call it a lurk necessarily, but just advancement on a C to back up the rest of the team that they caught Shopify in a bit of a timing there. Very aggressive from Legacy this time around. They're kind of storming the gates there, but immediately have to recall thanks to Alexis's utility. And so they just flush a little bit of that out and immediately just recall back as it looks like we're getting ready for a B-side hit.
Yeah, with this push in, even though the alarm bot didn't sound, they realized that the KG utility is out there. So maybe a little bit more weaknesses coming in from Shopify Rebellion Gold's defense on that B side. A solo TP inside and out, a TP out, forcing now the crossfires to come in from SRG. Now they can pivot back towards the A side, especially now that the Owl drone has not spotted anything yet. So we're trying to make a lot of noise here. We're trying to force the rotates out. Look at Muddy already running through and making so much of that noise to kick things off with a relay bolt. And now Blast gets the opener into the garage. The pivot comes back towards that C site. Noya has to come up huge here, but unfortunately gets picked off as soon as the smoke blooms by Tim. And that, unfortunately, now should be the same type of story that we've seen in the first half for Shopify Rebellion Gold, where Legacy should be able to convert their bonus round.
It's so fast. Going from watching Legacy kind of play things, they still have 30 seconds to get that spike down and not only hit A, but also hit B, and then finally ended up in C. It's all over the place and kind of this uber fast default style where they force out all of the utility from Shopify Rebellion Gold, making it so much more difficult to hold everything. All the mollies, all the smokes had to get expended because they were anticipating Legacy to just be so fast. And as fast as they run in onto the site, they immediately recalled and just forced everything out from Shopify, making it such an easy plant as Shopify have no choice right now except to go for a save. That was honestly Legacy just kind of toying with Shopify Rebellion Gold.
Yeah, and even Blast is holding W with the knife out, looking for opponents on the other end, just to try to get closer here to the Killjoy ult and try to maximize that if they need to use it in the long run. But thankfully here, nobody falls from the remaining members of Shopify Rebellion Gold, so it allows for them to have some sort and muster up some sort of a broken buy. Playing a judge on Alexis, wouldn't be surprised here to put her into the garage or play anywhere close with a judge down sewers, front B. But Legacy here so far, Marks, have been doing quite well since that sheriff round that they displayed in that round number 4.
That was like the TSN turning point, honestly. That might be too much of a local reference here, but it honestly was. Like, as soon as they had that moment where they were like, oh, we can just shoot them with our sheriffs and win around that easily, you could tell that there was a complete shift in the momentum there. Originally, that kind of aggro style of taking map presence, pushing out of C, pushing out of A, it felt a little bit more timid because they were worried about what Shopify were going to do until that sheriff round happened, and they were like, hey, we can shoot them. they're not going to shoot us as good. Let's just take that advantage and completely run away with it. And since then, it has been non-stop. Like, look at the rounds on your screen right now. It is all Legacy besides that round number 9 that went to Shopify Rebellion Gold. So you know they're feeling nice and confident. Shopify Rebellion, though, taking that timeout to hopefully settle their heads a little bit, re-strategize things, calm things down, and see if you can slowly start to climb that ladder back up. Once again, 1% per match they get better, and they got to make sure that they keep their heads cool in these tough scenarios.
Especially when you're falling behind now by so much for SRG. Trying to maximize everything. You see the position. They are putting Alexis into the garage. But here is that. Oh my gosh. I mean, the TP across should have given you an idea in the first place to try to get one, but to be 2 players out in the open for that 3-2-1 swing, looks like it really caught SRG off guard, and that might be an instant try to save. Look at Mel already falling back out towards the A link, smoking and trying to stay behind. And that, I mean, if you're looking at marks, you're moving into the next round with still just a judge and a guardian. So your riflers that you had on those that save, it's so far out of reach for them to pick this up.
Cover going out.
Yeah, that is unbelievable stuff kind of going off the round. I mean, on top of that, too, excellent headshots kind of coming in. Excellent just job on that double tap to secure 2 right off the bat there. But Shopify Rebellion Gold, like, they took the space, and yet there really wasn't much else that really fell into their favor on trying to support the 2 players that had pushed up. They were kind of hoping just to take those gun duels. And when we have that kind of triple swing, triple threat coming in from Legacy, well, even just by a pure numbers game, they're going to come out positive in those swings. And so, yeah, we're seeing Shopify just try and close the door, find a couple of kills here. And it turns out the only person finding kills is going to be Blast to seal out that round. So the save won't even come through for Shopify Rebellion Gold. This is a very, very tough map if you're Shopify here, fans.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at that point, you're spamming so many weapons on the outside of the A side, saying, hey, look at me, come try to chase us down. They did. It's easy. 3K there coming in from Blast right after. This could have been an opportunity for them to keep at least one of those rifles into the next round, but you can see at least they're able to muster up some sort of a decent buy. Still some Guardians to work with small armors, but you could definitely see on the attack side, though, from Legacy that they're holding a buddy system that really seems to oppress SRG. These 3-2-1s, double swings, triple swings are really throwing SRG for a loop.
And it feels like it's consistently throwing them through a loop. We're seeing now Tim go for a potential teleport play, or at least scout out a little bit of information. And this is as slow as ever from Legacy, which is completely different than every single round thus far on their attack. Finally, they will be advancing forward. Sarah using the Owl Drone, and that's going to keep him at bay just for a second as Blast is continuously watching mid. But as that Owl Drone expires, we're going to see Legacy slowly start to creep up towards A, as Alexis might actually have this timing onto Blast.
You can definitely see that they were trying to figure out the Owl Drone, rather, saw somebody just around the corner unless it expired, because nobody rotated after that for SRG. So for them, it seems as though they want to hold. Unfortunately, not hold well enough. Alexis trying to play the out in the open rifle round, but gets caught off and gives an opportunity now for Legacy to just entry towards this B site. Another one of those TPs baiting out the utility. And with Alexis down, those nanoswarms are also down. I think also SRG will be down on this map. Until Noya, though, turns around the corner. Beautiful shots coming across, but answered back with money of 2 of his own. 3 versus 1.
Not ready yet.
Now it's Mel's solo. Bulldog in hand, trying to salvage up a rifle here, but the more that she has to walk and re-clear these angles, the more the clock is going to be against her. And when you see the setup from Legacy, 3 players all across this C site for a huge crossfire setup. I think the odds are definitely against Mel at this point. There's that first contact. Paranoia, isolating fights. Good for that single one. But there's a trade instant coming through here as Shopify Rebellion will fall to Legacy on their first map. But at least, though, Mars, you can definitely see that Shopify Rebellion Gold came out with a hot start for the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, they really hit the ground running just at the start there. And you could see a lot of those kind of, strategies and little things you want to see, macro